22, the Rangers podcast is supported by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code CLUB@22. Your balls will thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to Club Preview here on Club@22, the Rangers podcast. I am your host on the preview this week, Scott Carney, and I'm with Scott Gemmell. Scott, how are you?
Hey, hi Carney, yeah, I'm good. Weekend's arrived. We won midweek. Saturday game at 3 o'clock. Yeah, just looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. It'll probably be bloody freezing though, but that's something we'll just have to deal with. We're in winter now, but yeah, we were due to have a full house tonight. Things have got in the way, so unfortunately you're just left with the two Scots. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we'll soon find out, I suppose, in the comments. So yeah, the reason that we're live.
Confused when someone says Scott.
Well, I'll call you Scotia. Well, I always call you Scotia. I never call you Scott.
No, but there's only the two years. But when there's more of them, I hear the name Scott. I'm like, oh, is he talking about me or you?
Yeah, everybody calls me Carney, but everybody started calling me Carney. So yeah, that takes me back getting called Carney. It was only since I started kicking about years though that I started getting called Carney. That died away a wee bit for a while. Getting called Carney. Anyway, right. We're here to talk about Rangers. Eventually, we're going to do a wee bit of self-indulgence first because we're live tonight because the podcast is one on Monday. We're not actually going to record on Monday, so this is technically a birthday party, which is kind of sad, Scotia, because it's just me and you sitting here.
Yeah, well, to be fair, the first one I think that we went live, it was only audio pods at the time we were doing, but it was you and Ali for that Ross County game, so it was only two at the start, so maybe that's good. I know it's definitely a year to the day since we done that pilot show on the Standard Liège game. Evening RFC 56. Yeah, evening everyone. Yeah, so
good evening. Yes, all the comments are starting to come in.
And yeah, so no, it's great that we've managed to make a year.
Hello from Los Angeles. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Lovely. That's early in the morning out over there, I'd imagine, is it not? Oh no, it must be. Well, in mid-afternoon.
Do not ask me about stuff like that, mate. I've got no idea. Not a clue. Anyway, so we are one. Yeah, that's the thing. We are our 1 year birthday, and we have different things to announce. Before I get into it, Club@22 is supported by Manscaped, the best in men's below the waist grooming. Go to manscaped.com. Use the code Club@22. You'll get 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will definitely thank you, won't they, Scotia?
They will indeed. Yeah, I've got my wee ball deodorant here for everyone to see. It's a very good wee product.
What's it called? Is it ball preserver or crop preserver or something?
That's called crop preserver, that one, aye.
Crop preserver. It does smell good, mate, to be fair. It does smell pretty good. Didn't realise I needed it in my life, but obviously I clearly do now. So, yeah, we are live, as I said, on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Leave a comment. It is just me and Scotia, so I will try my best to get to comments. If I miss stuff, I do apologise. I really do apologise. So yeah, before we get into Ranger stuff, it's just a bit of self-indulgence to start. We are live as well to announce our first ever live show, Club@22 from the Viceroy on the 14th of January 2022. We didn't really think we would be doing it as early as this. We didn't think we would reach 1,000 subscribers, but as we started this and got into stuff, we agreed if we ever got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube that we would do a live show, and it's now going to happen. So tickets are now on general sale. The link is in the description for this podcast. It's on all our socials, so you can go and buy a ticket there. It'll be £5 a ticket. The capacity of the venue is quite small, so there will only be 55 for obvious reasons. There'll be 55, so be quick. As I say, it will just be a live pod, a kind of half-season review. We're also going to be running a raffle for the Viceroy charity, who raised money for defib devices, and that's all in honour of Peter, the previous landlord of the pub, who sadly passed 2.5 years ago. And then we'll be doing a bit of a Q&A, a live Q&A, getting your questions. If you'd like to ask us anything, you can ask Scotia anything you want. I'm sure there's many pressing questions that people want to put to Scotia. So, yeah, just the usual Club@22 antics with added beer and staunchness, mate. What's not to love? We are all really looking forward to this, though, Scotia.
Yeah, I can't wait, really. I know we've talked about it. You know, that way, when we first done it, you were a wee bit apprehensive and like, oh no. But the more that we've done these pods and stuff, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So can't wait. And yeah, the bar staff and the Viceroy are top notch as well. So it's a great wee pub. Can't wait to kind of do it. And like you say, we took our name from Club at 22, from the Viceroy, when it used to be owned by Mr. Tom Valance. Although I think he owned almost all the pubs in Glasgow back in the day, because I'm sure he was the owner of Dow's up in not in Queen Street, but beside Queen Street Station as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, Curry Muncher said a free bar for a £5. Nah, no, it will not be a free
couple
bar.
Of pints, possibly.
No, mate. We won't be able to do that. Sorry, no, it won't be a free bar. But look, it's decent prices in the Viceroy. Let's be honest, and you never ever get a poor pint in the Viceroy. Scotia, it says that Michael Morgan, Scotia going for 55 beers. That's probably doable for you, mate.
Oh, I don't know. That's an awful lot of beers, man. 55 beers. What's that? Oh dear, no, thanks.
If you fling a few, is it Lefroy? Is that the whiskey you like, Lefroy?
Aye, that's the whiskey. I enjoy it.
Just like drinking pond water, man. Honestly, I've got absolutely zero.
I could do 55 of them, probably.
They're disgusting. Anyway, let's go on to Rangers things, mate. We finished with a wee bit of self-indulgence. We'll quickly touch on the win over Hibs. You've got to love the meltdown Scottish football goes into when Rangers get a Stonewall penalty. It's only like this, mate, in my opinion, because it doesn't fit the narrative that everybody was expecting. Everybody expected Rangers to drop points at Easter Road. It obviously didn't happen. And yeah, we just have to go through this rigmarole of it wasn't a penalty when it clearly was a penalty. So it's never going to change this, though, is it, Scotia? Let's be honest. It's always going to be Rangers get a penalty. It can't be a penalty.
It's daft. They moan about anything. It's ridiculous when they come on and do it, because it's a Stonewaller, and Beaton's looking at it for ages as well, you know. And it seemed, to me, when he done it, it was like, why are you taking so long to give that, mate? That was clear as day. But he had a really long time to look at it. He does it. Porteous throws his arms up in the air. Then you see McGinn come into the picture going mental, and then it all sort of crescendos from there. And it's ridiculous, because it was a penalty. And I know that they put out stats like, oh, Rangers have got the most penalties. Well, that's because we're attacking into the box and stuff like that. You expect teams that are attacking in and around the box, well, inside the box, obviously, for a penalty, to get these type of decisions. So I don't know why they're moaning when it's clear as day. It's not as if it was, think back to that Kirk Broadfoot one in the Old Firm, right? Okay, I'd maybe give you that, but that one in Ryan Kent last night was as clear as day a penalty as you'll ever see, really. So I don't know. Chris Boyd put it well, didn't he? It's still an egg. It's not soft-boiled, hard-boiled. It's still an egg.
Oh, Boydie, sometimes, man, you've got to absolutely love him. It's still an egg. Do you know what I mean? It is brilliant. D-Mac, Ryan Porteous, loyal. Lad got us out of jail. Twice now this season he's got us out of jail. Yeah, very much. It's just one of the things. I mean, it is a penalty. Ryan Kent's bought the penalty, but it's still a penalty. No matter what way you look at the rules, you can't have half a penalty or nearly a penalty. It's either a penalty or it isn't, and it was. So it really is as simple as that. We have a full reaction of that. If you want a full reaction of that game, you can go back and check it out. It's on the channel. We'll move on to more present day Rangers stuff. So we'll discuss the press conference, and we'll do a wee bit of a build up to the Dundee game, Scosh. The press conference today was obviously Jermain Van Bronckhorst and Calvin Bassey. Jermain Van Bronckhorst gave an update on injuries, no fresh ones from the game against Hibs. Jack will be back in the squad for tomorrow. Your dancer, hoping to get minutes into him over the next couple of weeks. Balogun back in training with the team on Sunday, and then we'll stop at this bit. The Connor Goldsun contract situation that's going to continue to run on and on and on for God knows how long, mate, until he either decides he's staying or he's going. So there was things came out this morning, rumours came out this morning that he'd actually knocked a contract back. Van Bronckhorst has confirmed in the press conference that that's not true, and talks are still ongoing. Scotia, I don't know, after the comments that's come out from Ross Wilson as well, I don't know how much talking there is left to be done.
Yeah, no, we've obviously reached a kind of a stone wall point where Goldsun and his agent want this much. We've got a wage structure that was confirmed at the AGM that we won't go above, which is always a wee bit of concern because when you start doing that, other players will start mourning. So we've got this structure in place. We've reached it. Goldsun won't sign it. I know that when those rumours came out earlier today in the papers that he's going to sign for a Premier League club, it's like, what Premier League club would really want Goldsun at the moment on his form? He's not playing well enough to be in a Premier League team, if you're honest. So, yeah, I mean, I've been saying since the transfer window closed back in September there, that was one of my worries is, well, Goldsun's out of contract at the end of the year. What's happening there? And I think I've said it in almost every other second pod that we've done, that I was like, Goldsun's still not signed yet. So it's going to run down. It's the big question now is whether or not we get rid of him in January and get some money back for him, because that's a big disappointment for me, is the fact that we've got a player like Goldsun. Can't remember how much we paid for him, but you would be expecting to push him on for like 5, 6, 7 million pounds at least. That's not going to happen now. So we've kind of lost money in the deal, and it's not great there. And then the problem you've got as well is we're threadbare at the back as it is. And obviously, if Balogun's, like you say, Gio had mentioned in his press conference that Balogun's back in training with the squad on Sunday. Hopefully he'll be back, but if he's back, then that more than likely means that Nigeria will take him away to the African Cup of Nations, which, if they do, I think they finished third the last time the Cup of Nations get played, which ends in I think it's the 9th of February. So there's a fair few games after the winter break that he'll miss out on, and potentially Bassey if he gets called up as well. So then your defence is absolutely threadbare. So it's Goldsun's a difficult one in that respect.
I mean, do I think he's going to sign? I don't think so now, to be honest. I think it would have been done and dusted now if he was going to decide to sign a new contract. CGM 55 says depends on how much he actually wants. A Premier League club will probably offer him between 50 and 80k a week, and yes, they will. And I think that's one of the biggest kind of sticking points now for me is we're obviously not going to break the bank for him. And to be honest, on the form this season, I don't see why we would. Obviously, last season he was immense for Rangers last season. Absolutely, he was labelled by a lot of people the rock that 55 was built on, and you can't really disagree with that. But I think it would be a right shame for him to go and for us not to get anything back for him. However, I remember when this conversation first came up, if we were to go on and win the league this season and he leaves for nothing, but we get the money for the Champions League, then you may be weighing out the loss for the gain, if that makes sense. So, but I just think if he's going to become one of the highest paid players at the club, which I imagine that's what the contract he's kind of looking at. Again, this is all hypothetical. I've got no idea what Connor Goldsun wants. But if he does and becomes the highest paid, you're not getting anything back for him, because by the time he's at the end of that contract, he's going to be, 33? He's turning 29, is that right?
Yeah, he's 29, yeah.
So it's going to be 3 years at probably what you would expect the contract to be. So I don't know if it's going to happen now, to be honest. And I think January will be an interesting one. I don't know if we're going to do much business in January. But I mean, you've got Katic out on loan, so there could be something in that. I don't know how you Scotia, you watch a lot of football. Have you seen any of Katic at all?
No. Who does he play for? It's not Hajduk Split, it's someone out that.
Is it not? Is it Hajduk Split? I'm sure it is.
Is it? Right. I think it's somewhere in Split. He's out in Croatia. I've not watched any Croatian football. I'm not that into my football, to be honest. No. What you say there about Goldsun as well. And on Wednesday night, that was only our 4th clean sheet of the season in the league after 15 games. So you can't put that all solely down in Goldsun. There's an awful lot of defensive errors in there, but 4 clean sheets in 15 games isn't good enough for me.
I agree.
Gallant pioneers saying it is Hajduk. I've not watched him. I actually meant to look up how he's been doing today before we started doing this, but I didn't get around to it, so I couldn't tell you how he's doing.
I seen him on
Yeah, I would. I'm sure I said it a couple of weeks back, maybe a month or two back, that Souttar's one that I would take up, because again, he's coming to the end of his contract, so we can pick him up on a free, or like give Hearts a wee bit of money in January to bring him in if he wants to come. I really like John Souttar. The only problem with Souttar for me is he's been injury prone the last few seasons, and he's always taken like really nasty injuries that's kind of waylaid him for a wee while.
Mm-hmm.
But we're Rangers, we always sign injured players and players that pick up injuries easily. So it wouldn't not as if it's not unlike us. But no, I would take Souttar, and I always like having a Scottish centre half in there. Just, I don't know why, probably just takes me back to golf and beer and things like that.
Of course it does, because again, the defender at half nonsense coming out from you. Look, apparently as well, there's a few people said here. DMAC said Catty's just been pretty average at split. He's on the bench most weeks, so I mean that's not ideal for us to be bringing back that. I mean, you would really want Katic to have been playing kind of every game and to come back in form. So I say I'd be lying. I've not seen any of them. I've not had a chance to look. Just on loans, Gant Pioneer asks, does Itten still have a place? I think Gio will move him on. I think this is an interesting one down to what's happened with Defoe. And I think Defoe's got a decision to make in January whether he's more interested in concentrating on coaching badges or playing football. What do you think, Scholes? Do you think Itten will still have a place in the team? And do you expect him back in January, or do you expect the loan to be the rest of the season?
In terms of the loan, I think they'll see the season out. If I'm being honest, because we've not got a real need for people up top at the moment.
That's true.
Whereas, in defence we do. But I think I'd said a week or so ago that I think the way that Gio sets up his team, it might suit like a big target man like Itten at points in certain games to bring him in. So I think he would be, if he was about just now in the Rangers team, I think he would be getting more chances than he ever did in competitive games under Gerrard.
It's a tough one, Itten, because I mean, I know obviously everybody got a wee bit excited the fact that he scored against Bayern Munich, but the Bayern Munich were 3-0 up, so it's like he scored that a consolation goal, so you can't really take too much into that. The game was pretty much over, so I'm not sure. I think he was a wee bit harshly treated by Gerrard, and it also confuses me a wee bit considering what Gerrard chose to do with Defoe when he was like, okay, you're just going to coach, because if Gerrard hadn't left and Gio didn't come in, then Defoe probably wouldn't have seen any football this season. I'd be surprised if he did. But I don't know what kind of contract Defoe's on. Do you think he's probably on an appearance, something like that?
Probably. If he's like a split player kind of coach role, yeah. I mean, the wages will be down a wee bit, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But I'd prefer Defoe actually to be in playing more than let him do his badges and stuff. I know an awful lot of players come to the end of their career and do that. They still play, but they do their badges, so they get a given time off to do it. So I would prefer if Defoe was in and around the training pitch and with the players training, and also on the bench when needed at times.
Yeah. I think Defoe, as I say, I just don't know how much Defoe's got left in him, but I mean, we said the other night he came on and within 2 minutes he got a shot on target, which was quicker than what Alfie had managed to do. But I would never say to be playing him kind of regular, because obviously there's no way he's going to be able to keep up with that. So we'll move on, mate. We'll move on from that. But I think we'll just need to, time will tell with the Connor Goldsun thing. It's just we're going to need to wait and see what happens with him. And then obviously you mentioned Offer Bar, so I mentioned again to you before we come on here, I completely forgot about him. I really had, and that's probably a bit of a shame. But he's still undergoing tests. According to Van Bronckhorst, and nothing is decided. Is this one of the ones, Scott, that we might never see him playing for Rangers?
Yeah, it's kind of got the Daniel Prodans written all over it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's not looking great, and it's it's never nice to see, particularly when it's like a young guy at the start of his career, that this might put a stopper to it. But we don't know. Mm-hmm. There wasn't really much information that Gio got given out, but yeah, it's not looking great in that front. And plus, because it's a new coaching staff coming in, they'll have their own ideas, they'll have their own players. I know I've seen a couple of folk have put in some wee comments there about Xavi Simons or Xavi Simons even. So they'll have their own players that they'll have their eye on. So yeah, I don't think we'll see Offenborough, if I'm being honest. But hopefully the tests that he's going under come out well, and then maybe we can see him. So
yeah, possibly. And even if we don't, we obviously hope he can continue his career. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to write the guy off, but it's a lot of football he's missed now. He's been out for a long time. Whether he's still been doing training or if he can do training and while these tests are happening, I'm not sure. But it's been a while since he's kicked a ball, I would imagine. The only thing about Xavi Simons, Scotia, is there's going to be a guy at the club that's got better hair than you.
No, I've seen the pictures. It's like Valderrama come back.
It is.
Isn't it? So I know a few people were asking what's the thoughts on it. And if I'm being honest, I don't really know much about him. He's played twice for PSG off the bench since he went there from the Barca youth team. He's obviously Dutch, so Vos and Van Bronckhorst will know all about him. He's played quite a lot from under 15s to under 19s level with the Netherlands. He's played quite a lot, and I think he's been touted as this a wonder kid, similar to mind when you used to play Football Manager Champman and Freddie Adu was this big next big thing kind of player like that. And I mind that it must have been back in 2008. Freddie Adu never turned into anything, but back in 2008 when I was playing Champman, I signed Mirliam Pjanic for Rangers when he was really young, and obviously he's actually went on to be a really, really good footballer because he's at Juve now. I think he's still at.
So are you taking responsibility for that or something?
Yes, I am. Yes,
because he was in your Champ manager team. Oh, I didn't know where you were going there, Scotia. I was like, where are you going?
No, but I don't. In terms of Simons, I've not seen any of them. So the fact that he's Dutch and young, then we've got Vos and Van Bronckhorst there. There's maybe a chance, but I would imagine it would only be a loan move because he must be on astronomical sums of money at PSG. Yeah,
you see the obligatory YouTube clip that starts flying about of him, mate, doing a bit of a trick and scoring a peach in training, so everybody can kind of do it in training, I think. So it'll be an interesting one to see. Look, we are going to be linked with every young Dutch player ever, mate, that's even shook hands with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. It's just the way it works. But carry on.
What I was going to say, it's that way that managers kind of have their markets that they get linked with. Because if you mind, to the end of Walter's period of time, it was Italy was where he would go. I mean, obviously we had all the Italian players. You had Laudrup, you had Gascoigne, you had Jonas Tern, Bjorklund, I think, came from Italy, an Italian team as well. And then you had Advocat. It was Vicenza or Venezia, one of those ones.
Scotia, Italy's your chosen country, mate, so I'll believe you like that. I'll believe you on that.
But you had like Advocat, obviously back in the Netherlands. McLeish was quite into his French market, so was Le Guen, obviously. Fucking Caixinha brought his Big Pina. So there's all these markets that managers are kind of familiar with and linked with. So yeah, it's going to be the Dutch one for us for the foreseeable, and that'll come out in the papers every other day, won't it?
Yes, it will. So also the in the comments, mate, it's Morelos. The discussion about Morelos has popped up as it usually does. There's a few asked about what were your thoughts on Alfie. Would he get a chance again against Dundee? CGM said he would drop Morelos. DMAX says crash helmet on here. If we got an offer over 10 million for Alfred, let him go. He's so inconsistent. I mean, there's quite a few of them. I mean, people are saying they've ran out of patience. Campany says ran out of patience for Alfie. What is your thoughts on Alfredo Morelos? Because he hasn't been great the past two games, but the game against Sparta, he was pretty decent. So it's a tough one. Morelos just goes through these waves. And look, I know I wear Morelos tinted spectacles quite a lot because I absolutely love him. But without ruining your team selection, as we'll come on to as we finish up, mate, does he start for you tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're asking the wrong person, Alfie, because I really like him, and you're asking me wrong anyway. Because I'm still waiting for Dorrans to become good for Rangers and Jamie Murphy to come good for Rangers. You know, I'm not as harsh in play. You probably want Ali for something like this because he gets on the back of players, whereas I'm a wee bit more forgiving and lenient towards them. To be honest, I don't think Alfie had a terrible game against Hibs at midweek. He was no worse than anyone else in the pitch. I don't think he certainly wasn't the worst player for us in the pitch, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, he was rotten against Livingston, and yes, he did miss the sitter, but he's missed those sitters before. So, yeah, we love it. So it's football, isn't it? Your opinion changes game to game, day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute at times. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's been a Rangers fan, mate. We constantly do this. We constantly, as soon as some player has a bad game, it's like, I say, people would question Davis as well about the other night as well because he wasn't particularly great. But I say the whole team wasn't particularly good. I mean, I haven't sat and watched the Hibs game back because I can't put myself through it. I know by seeing the clips that I've seen that it was a terrible game of football, and we've got out there with 3 points. So yeah, I've seen the penalty a million times. I've seen the celebration. I've seen Porteous' reaction and McGinn's reaction, which is again is tremendous. There's been like arts and gifts and whatever made out of that. The way Rangers Twitter goes and stuff like this happens. So that was particularly enjoyable. But nobody played well the other night. So I don't know if Morelos will start on Saturday. We will come on to that. And then he mentioned VAR, mate, the kind of old question that always comes back up with VAR. If VAR had been in place on Wednesday night, mate, I still think we're getting a penalty, so I'm for it.
Yeah, I've always been for VAR. The one thing I don't like about it is the rule that they do where they have to play the phase of attack to completion. And I think Ryan and Ali and yourself have said similar in the past.
Yeah.
Just because someone could get really seriously injured because you're still thinking the game's live when clearly it's not. That's my one worry with it. But they'll change it because they've been making tweaks throughout. I know down in England this season that they've shortened or thinning the lines that they were using for the offside stuff. Whereas the previous season they were quite thick and a lot of people were getting a wee bit upset with that. But the way they've done it now is they've brought it more in line with what they're doing in the continent and what they were doing in the UEFA competitions. Yeah, so I don't think VAR can be a bad thing. It's just, we speak about it all the time. It's the standard of refereeing, so it'll be the standard of the officiating of the VAR official that we get as well. That'll be a concern because, yeah, that would be the only thing. But yeah, I'm all for VAR, to be honest. I don't think it doesn't seem to stop the game too much. You know, I think that was people's big worries that it would turn into like American football, stop, start all the time. But to be honest, on very few occasions has it ever actually done that to a whole 90 minutes of football.
It's definitely got better, put it that way. It has definitely got better. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Even when you watch the rare APL game, I get to see it has got much better. I mean, you used to be able to be offside if your armpit hair was offside. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like I've got a wee bit ridiculous, but I think they've started to just tinker with it to get it right, as I say, to make it, to try and not stop the game all the time, because nobody wants that absolutely all the time. All I will say is if VAR would have been in place this week, we would have benefited from it. If VAR was in place for another team that plays in Glasgow this week, they would not have benefited from it. So I am all for it. I am literally all for it. Calvin Bassey, he was then at the press conference. Seems like a lovely big lad, doesn't he? Scores edges, seems like a nice big guy. But he was asked questions about playing at centre back and whatever else. He says he's happy to play anywhere. He's required. Sees it good for his development. He was then asked about Alan McGregor's exuberance in a game. I will say he said he gets used to it, and it might look like he's shouting down his neck, but he is like a coach on the pitch. It's like a coach on the pitch because he's been there and done it all. But he said Griggsy is fine. I mean, Scotia, it must be hard work putting up with Alan McGregor sometimes.
Yeah, I think, see, for players when they first meet him and first play with him, it must be like, what's going on here? But I think, like sort of Bassey was saying in his press conference, you probably get used to it and realise that that's just his way, because I've had it in like me previously. You'll get managers that scream down your throat to try and egg you on, and you'll get managers that are a bit calmer with you. So it's just the person individually. And if Calvin says it's fine because he's been putting in excellent performances at centre back. And I quite like what he had to say about like how he's found the adaptation from centre or left back to centre back, and how he was talking about his positional sense where it was, and he's had to work on that to get more confident, which I think he has been, because again I'll hark back to that Sparta game last week where I'd said he was getting pulled out of position at times, but he's grown into that position fairly comfortably over the last the Liverpool game and the Hibs game there midweek.
Yeah, actually, I'm all for Bassey. I like him. I think he's a player that can develop as a centre back or as a left back. And I think if we get another centre back and we get another centre back of any kind of great standard, or Big Phil comes back, then I think Barisic will be struggling to keep a hold of his jersey, in my opinion, because I've not been particularly impressed with Barisic this season, especially defensively, whereas we've said that about Bassey before. Bassey just sees the ball and thinks, that's my ball, I'm going to get that ball. Nothing will stop me getting that ball. And he's been great, really, really good. And you can see that he's loving his football. It's all you really want. Do you know what I mean? It's all that you want from a player that's been developed. And I love when somebody sat down in front of the press and they just seem honest and genuine. It was like, just when he said, I'll play anywhere. Like, I love that. Yes, of course he's all about himself. Everybody that comes to kind of Rangers nowadays is using it as a stepping stone. Scottish football is used as a stepping stone to the English Premier League. Everybody knows that. So I'm coming and just being like, I just want to play football. I'll play anywhere. I'll do anything I want. I love that in a player. You can't really not love that in a player.
Yeah, see the question he got asked about Balogun, and he was like, "Yeah, I hope Leon's fine." But then you seen himself think to himself, and he was like, "But I still want to be playing." So that was quite good.
Yeah, he did kind of go like, no. Well, I hope. Well, he's a nice lad, and I hope he's okay. But no, I like Big Bassey, I do, and he spoke very well today. So we'll move on to Dundee themselves, mate. Won their last two matches against St Johnstone and Motherwell. Currently sitting 9th, although things are very, very tight in the bottom 6 right now. There's like 6 points separating like 4 or 5 teams or something like that. Last time Rangers played them, we won 1-0 with a goal from Joe Aribo. That was away in Dundee. So what's your thoughts ahead of the game, Scotia?
Yeah, you see Dundee, this should be fairly straightforward. You would like to think. I don't want to fall into the trap that Ali made against Ross County a few weeks back, but it should be fairly straightforward. Dundee, yeah, they've won their last 2, I think. I think Motherwell, who they played last Saturday, Motherwell were woeful that day, even worse than when we played them. So wouldn't read too much into that. Didn't really see any of their highlights of their midweek game against, who were they playing? St Johnstone. They beat 1-0 midweek, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, we were really poor that day. We won 1-0 up at Dens Park. We were very slow at times, and we were going through the motions. It was that period of time where we would only play well for wee small periods. But Dundee didn't sit in. Dundee came and had a go. Now, whether or not they'll change their approach that they're coming to Ibrox rather than being at home at Dens, I don't know. But James McPake seems to have them playing quite attacking football at times. So I'm hoping it keeps with that mantra, because that should play into our hands, and we should have a decent chance to keep Gio's impressed. I think it was I read something today that it was since Willie Waddle, he's the first Rangers manager to win 3 games. His first 3 games. I think it was Willie Waddle. It might have been Jock Wallace. It was either one of them. But yeah, he's the first one to do it since either of them. Can't remember.
It's pretty impressive. I don't know. I've not seen that stat, mate. I've been busy, man. I've hardly really been on social media or anything like that at all recently. I've been quite busy, so no, I've not seen that. But I think I am so stuck in the 90s, mate, that every time I think about Rangers playing Dundee at home, I just go, well, that's not even a game of football. It's just it's a formality that Rangers will win. Do you know what I mean? And obviously it isn't. Things have definitely moved on since I was growing up watching Rangers, but I just Dundee have clicked into a good bit of form. They're playing all right. They're playing pretty decent football. However, I just always, my head will not stop going, well, it's Dundee at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's Dundee at home. We should not be slipping up on a game like that. Hello to the Rangers rabble. Dundee have come onto a game, so confidence will be high. In my opinion, it's good for us if they come thinking they have a chance to go and murder them. Doubt they will, though, but let's hope. Cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, everybody, I'm sure you all know who the Rangers rabble are, but if you don't, go over and subscribe to their channel. Guys are top class. So, I mean, yeah, it could end up turgid, mate. It could end up Rangers absolutely flying. We could win 3-0, 4-0. I don't know. It's one of those games, but you'll know by my score prediction that, as I said, I have not moved out of the 90s, and it's probably time that I do, to be honest. So we'll go on to team selection, mate. What do you think the teams are going to be? Before I let you do it, I will. Ali and Ryan have both sent theirs in, so if you give me 2 wee seconds, this is really professional, I know. Ali's is McGregor, Tav, Goldsun, Bassey, Barisic, Aribo, Arfield, Kamara, Sakala, Roof, and Kent. He's went for 3-0, and Kent is his first goal scorer. What's your team, Scosh?
There's 3 players that I want. Well, 4 players that I've kind of hovering over whether they should be in it or not. In fact, before I go into that, can I speak about Bacuna quickly?
Oh, yes, you can.
Yeah, because Bacuna is an interesting one because he's obviously was born in the Netherlands. He represented them in the youth level for a period of time as well, and he's not been on the bench in the league games. These last 2 league games, he was on the bench for the Sparta game, but I think that's more because you've got a bigger bench. But yeah, it's surprising that he's not been playing because you must think that Dave Voss and Gio must know about him. So I'm surprised that he's kind of dropped away because he was coming on to a wee bit of a game. If you remember, just before the international break, he had who would be playing? I can't remember who we were playing, but he came on to a really good game. So it's interesting in him. But yeah, my team. Let's go into the team. Yeah, I'm going to be really
just
boring.
quickly, Scosh, Potato Man's put, you're thinking about Loudrup running at Dundee. That is what I'm thinking about. Genuinely, that's what I think of when we play Dundee at home. Yes, it is. The memories. Right, your team, Scosh.
Yeah, I'm not really going. I'm just making one change again. I'm going for the team that faced Livy. So McGregor, Tav, Goldsun, Bassey, Barisic, Arfield, Kamara, Hadji, Aribo, Kent, and Morelos. There are a couple of players that I would maybe change, but I'll just go with that.
That's very safe, to be honest, mate. That is very safe. Look,
I'm trying to get more than 2 right.
I know. You got the last. Did you get the last one? Was it the last one you and Ali both got right?
Aye, but it was kind of easy to predict that one.
There has a few came in. Let me see. Let me go back to it. If I've missed this, I'm sorry. Look, I'm trying to do a million things at once here. This not good for me. CGM, McGregor, Patterson, Goldson, Bassey, Barisic, Kamara, Aribo, Arfield, Kent, Sakala, and Roof. Patterson coming in, be interesting. I think Patterson's probably a shoe on to start against Leon. I reckon he'll make quite a lot of rotation for the Leon game. I think he might use that as a kind of glorified friendly, because why would you not? Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's really that important that we go kind of
just money and coefficient points, really.
Coefficient points. How many coefficient points do you get for a win, Scott? Like 3 or something? I don't know how it works.
Not loads, no.
So yeah, exactly. So it's not really. I don't think it's really worth it. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, we'll see. Look, we'll see. Ryan's as well. Again, another really professional number. I need to go find his message. McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Bassey, Borna, Kamara, Aribo, Arfield, Kent, Sakala, and Roof. So that's exactly the same as Ali, is it not?
Yeah.
Did you write them down there? No. So no. Yeah, and so he's went 3-0 as well. Arfield to score first. What was your score? I don't think I listened to you.
I didn't go. I'm going 4-0.
4-0. Oh, very positive, mate. Very, very positive. I'll go with. Do I dare? McGregor.
I know who you're thinking.
Yes, I know. McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Bassey, Barisic, Ryan Jack, Kamara, Aribo, Kent, Roof, and I think he'll play Hadji. And the only reason I think he will play Hadji is Dundee might sit in. They might not come out and go full gung-ho, mate, and try and go for it. They might take their time before they decide to actually come out. So I think Hadji might get the first hour or so. And then if depending on how the game goes, we might see Sakala. I would love to see Sakala start. I genuinely would. I would love to see him start, but I'm not 100% that he will. Because I don't know if that's where he sees his best position.
Yeah. No, like Sakala was one of those names. The Sakala, Roof were two that I was like, will they come in or not? But I've just got a feeling, just because Roof's just coming back from injury, he'll probably just keep on the bench. And when you mentioned Jack there as well, actually.
Sorry, Scotia. Just it's
a beautiful country. This is Scotland, by the way. Yeah, had that many times, Ravel. Thank you.
We have called you that. We have. Does everybody? Do you not think he looks a bit like Keanu Reeves as well, though? Is it Bill and Ted? Is it Bill and Ted? Isn't it?
It's Bill and Ted. Yeah. Yeah, but see on Jack as well. I would have had. I was considering putting Jack in my team, but just given the comments that Gio made in his press conference about building him up to get minutes, because I know you were worried before the Livy game that it wasn't even in the bench, or not the Livy game, the Hibs game, that it wasn't even in the bench. But thankfully, Gio's kind of put that to bed, and yeah, we're just building him up because we don't need to rush him at the moment. So,
well, yeah, we do, because I like him and I want to see him play again. No, I get it, mate. With Ryan Jack, as I say, I just how much longer are you going to keep him? It's time for him to get back into the team. Well, I hope he does, because I think he deserves another crack at the whip. Do you know what I mean? I think he deserves another go at it, but there's a lot of players in front of him. As well, it's interesting. I think it was, I can't remember what game it was, but it's either the second game for Gio. I don't think it was a Sparta game that we spoke about John Lundstrom. I think I mentioned John Lundstrom would have a chance to really impress and get himself into the team, but again, he's not really, okay, he got brought on the other night, but it was really just to secure up, and as I say, it looked like it kind of went to a 3-5-2 at that point. So,
what do you think? Sakala was going to come on.
That's right. That's right. But
Gio had Sakala coming on, and then obviously we scored the penalty. Yeah, I think Lundstrom's got a choice, but I think we're a wee bit over heavy in those positions. I think there's too many options. So, yeah, it's going to be bits and pieces, because I think Kamara at the moment's probably guaranteed most weeks. Davis, as we've said, he had a poor game by his standards midweek. And what was I saying there? Sorry, that question got me off guard. Yeah, Davis had I think Davis had a poor game by his standards, because we always say like Davis doesn't drop below 7 out of 10. The game against Hibs there, I don't think it was probably about 6, maybe 5.5 if you're being uber harsh. But Kamara's not dropping out, so we're probably a wee bit too heavy in the middle for players, because you've got Arfield there as well. So it's, do you change formation all the time? You don't want to do that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lundstrom.
That's a good point from Garnt Pioneer. I think Lundstrom's Rangers career went with Gerrard. That's very possible. Look, he might not be the type of player that Gio's looking for to kind of build his team around. I think players like Ryan Jack, Kamara, Hadji particularly looks like he's kind of one of his favourites. Look, it's only been 3 games. As I say, you're trying not to be over analytical, but as Rangers fans, that's what we do. We literally analyse every little thing about what he's going to do. And I think Hadji in particular looks like he might be a bit of a favourite. Do you not think, with Hadji especially, Scores, that we should move him in a bit and like don't play him out wide? Because Aribo's very good out there as well. Look, Aribo's been great for us all season. No matter where he plays, he seems like a really, like, he just seems like he's kind of on form just now. But I would always try and get Hadji close at the middle, because see when we break down there, see try to watch him run at full pace, mate, it hurts my eyes, man.
I've been screaming out all season, even when Gerrard was here and he was having Hadji out on the right. I'm like, play Hadji in the middle. I think because Aribo can play out on the right, but I think the problem you've got then is, what position is Aribo better at, in the middle or out in the wing? Now, he's very good at both of them. He's probably slightly better in through the middle. So you're kind of losing the quality that Aribo would give you there to push him out wide to bring Hadji in. Would Hadji give us more there? Potentially, because we've not really seen it that often. But they are switching it up in games, I've noticed. I've noticed in the Hibs game that Hadji was coming inside quite a lot, and Aribo was pushing out wide. So, you know, if we were playing that kind of 4-2-3-1, I want those three to be able to shift about and kind of just break the lines, confuse the defence. So, I would prefer Hadji more centrally, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's a good point. We look a lot sharper with our field playing. I think when the substitutions were made on Wednesday night, you could see a pretty heavy change in us going forward. We all of a sudden became very attacking, and I think that was down to obviously our field support. And it was very close to Roof. Him and Roof were playing very close to each other.
Yeah, I think when they came on, did we switch more to a 4-4-2? Or was that maybe when Lundstrom had come on? It was more a 4-4. It was when Lundstrom came on, we went to a kind of 4-4-2. But yeah, no, Arfield's like we say, he does that. He makes those runs forward past the forward line to kind of run into those spaces, as his goal against Livy last Sunday proved. And you know, it was like this last season. Arfield, he wasn't really getting a game, and then he came into it maybe a wee bit earlier than this season, but he came in and he was absolutely phenomenal for us between November to sort of January, and he was one of the reasons that we've done so well. So yeah, Arfield's been magnificent the last couple of games that he's featured in, and it gives us that's something a wee bit different, because no one else in the midfield really does that at the moment. I think some of them could. Jack and Kamara could possibly do that, but they've been instructed by the previous management team not to do it. But yeah, no, Arfield, he's looking as if he's coming onto a better game.
It is amazing the names that pop up in chats, mate, that make me think. Like we've mentioned Offerball tonight, we've mentioned Bakuna. CGM's just said Scott Wright. Completely forgot about him, and I was like all for him. Like when we signed him, I was just like, now he doesn't even seem close to getting on the pitch. Do you know, it's not even, the game doesn't really suit him. To
be honest, he was one of the names I was considering for my team tomorrow. Because he's a more natural winger than Hadji is. You know, and I think that type of winger would suit what Gio's trying to do in certain games. So yeah. I mean, we're only 3 games in to his kind of tenure as Rangers manager, so it's difficult to kind of judge. So I think obviously there's loads and loads of games coming up over the next sort of 3 weeks. So we might see Wright at some points during then, but we'll just need to wait and see in that one.
Yeah, so Gallant Pioneer as well. Simpson and Barker are deadwood. Barker has been deadwood for me since the day he signed for us, to be honest. I cannot.
Poor Brandon.
I know everybody that watches this podcast will know I am not a fan of Brandon Barker. I can't understand why he plays for Rangers. And Simpson, I mean, he's not even close to getting a start. I would imagine if we see Katic getting recalled, that is the final kind of nail in his coffin, to be honest, as far as Rangers are concerned. But I don't see Simpson. He's not impressed, Scotia. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. He's had odd chances, but right now, again, it's 3 games we've only had under Gio, but he's not been, considering we're playing a natural left back at centre back, I think it tells you everything.
Yeah, have not got any centre backs on the bench.
Oh, neither we did. You're right.
In the 2 league games, obviously in the European game, we had Leon King in there, who can, you know, he's a centre back. But I
literally cannot believe that. John Lammy, can you believe Barker outlasted Gerrard? No, I can't believe it. Brandon Barker had the cheek to put up a picture of him in training gear the other week, and people were like, "Oh, you're making a return?" I'm like, "No, of course he isn't. It's Brandon Barker." Oh, unbelievable, man. Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm just not a fan of him. Honestly, I am just not a fan at all. And it's a shame that it's an irrational kind of feeling of I just can't be bothered with him at all. It's never really understood it. So, Scotia, we're pretty much coming to the end, mate. Looking forward to tomorrow. I think we're going for breakfast in the morning.
I'll hopefully come up and meet you. If the train's running time, I always run into the problem that I go and get a train and then it goes, this train's cancelled, so you need to wait in the next one. So hopefully if I can get the train up in time, I'll meet you in Paisley Road for a wee bite to eat before going to the pub and along to the game.
So Obviously, yes, we are going to game tomorrow. A few beers tomorrow as well. Saturday 3 o'clock kick off, what it's all about. We'll try not to be as drunk when we bring you a reaction, probably from the pub. Try not to be as drunk as we were after the defeat to Hibs, but you can probably understand why we were a wee bit drunk after the defeat to Hibs. So yeah, obviously we did this live tonight. I'm sorry I've not got everybody's comments. It's so difficult to try and read and listen and talk all at the same time. I'm a man, I can't really do these things. But we did do it because the podcast is turning one on Monday. We have reached over 1,000 subscribers much quicker than we ever thought we would. We've launched a join button. You can join the channel now and you can become a Club at 22 supporter. So as I say, we're delighted with it, and also we're now doing a live show. As you've seen, it's been scrolling across the bottom of the screen. We're going to be doing a live podcast from the Viceroy Bar. You can buy tickets for it, and the link is in the description for this podcast. £5 a ticket. There's only going to be, it is a small venue because we are named after the Viceroy. But it's a small venue because I'm worried that nobody's going to actually turn up. So that's why I chose to do quite a small venue in the hope that people buy tickets. But yeah, we'll say £5 a ticket. All the usual Club at 22 nonsense and beers added in. So that's what it's all about. So Scotia, thank you very much for your time tonight, mate, and happy podcast birthday to you.
Aye, happy birthday. Very well done in actually setting this up and getting me and Ali dragged into it, along with Ryan as well eventually. Yeah, it's been a really good year for it. To be honest, I've really enjoyed it. I'd like to thank everyone getting involved in the comments tonight as well. It's been difficult because every time I kind of look at it, I start laughing from some of the comments that are getting made. So yeah, no, it's been an enjoyable night, mate. So aye, thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get those 3 points.
Hopefully, yeah. Gallon you usually look well oiled. Yes. yes, we will. Yes, we will. And so, Connie wants us to ask where is the Viceroy? It's 22 Paisley Road West. Used to be called the Club at 22 when Tom Vallance owned it.
It's in between Kinnan Park and Shields Road.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that'll do us. As I say, thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. It's amazing when everybody comes in with all the comments. It really is superb. Well, hopefully see you at the live show. And yeah, we really can't wait to do it. No idea how it's going to be. It's the first time we've ever going to have done it, but for sure we're going to put absolutely everything we can into it, and we really are looking forward to it. So hopefully see you there. Shameless plug as always, please like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, like and share anywhere that you can. It really helps, really makes a huge difference. As I said, we'll be back tomorrow after the football. I promise not as drunk as we were the last time we did a pod from the pub. I promise that. I do promise that. And yeah, we have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Thank you everybody, and speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.